It is Friday, June 14th, 2024. This is another edition of Baseball Today, presented to you by our friends over at Factor. We got your Factor question of the week coming up at the end of the show. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan, and intern Tommy along for the ride as well. Happy weekend. Happy Father's Day weekend.
A lot of stuff going on for me, Chris. Number one, you haven't said anything yet.
It's your birthday.
Oh, yeah, on Saturday. Don't worry about that. It's 38th birthday. No one cares. I got my tooth.
I know you got your tooth, but tomorrow's your birthday.
It is.
Yeah, no, that's a big deal. So you got a tooth for your birthday.
Yeah.
So we mix like the Tooth Fairy and your birthday.
And
Father's Day. All right here.
It's all jumbled together. The thing I'm most happy about, look, I love Father's Day. I love my birthday, whatever. I don't really love my birthday, but Father's Day is great. My tooth. Dude, I can smile like I want to smile now. I think the show is about to take off. I'm back.
Oh, I love it. There's like a little bling, like the cartoon when the guy smiles and there all of a sudden there's everything. Yeah.
I still like. I don't know if you remember this, but when I first got this tooth out, I would like hide behind the microphone a little bit.
Oh gosh.
And like when I was looking this way, I wouldn't smile fully. Now I feel like I can actually like be myself. Whatever. People don't want to hear about that. Let's talk baseball.
Okay. I got two tips of the cap. It came from the same game out in Chavez Ravine. Last night was the first pitch. It was Yoshinobu Yamamoto bobblehead. And so usually you can have somebody near and dear to you throw out the first pitch. Well, Yamamoto instead opened it up to a bunch of kids who would send in videos as to why they should throw out the first pitch. That is 9-year-old Keita, I believe is how you say it. He does the whole thing, the Yamamoto, like set up and throw, and he threw a dart, dude.
That was a nice pitch right there. That was a nice pitch. A lot of pressure on that young kid from the mound, too.
And I love it that Yamamoto opened it up, like said, okay, I don't know you, but if you want to throw out the first pitch to me on my bobblehead day, send me a video as to why you should. And I think that's great. Good job by him. Later on in the Rangers win, great job by Dave Robertson, who for the second straight night struck out Mookie, Shohei, and Freddie all in the same inning. That hadn't happened all year long. He did it on consecutive nights. And last night, in a tough situation, first and third, nobody out. He gets those guys 1, 2, 3. Awesome job by him.
If you've ever heard me talk about baseball, you know how I feel about David Robertson. I always say he's my number one signing in the offseason because he signs for like 1 year, $8 million, and he provides moments like this. He's a very, very good pitcher.
Yeah, it was cool. All right, let's get to it. Bunch of good series this weekend. That's why we're going to start with some previews. On the East Coast, are you more interested in Philly at Baltimore or the first meeting of the season between the Yankees and the Red Sox, which will take place at Fenway Park?
I'm happy for the Red Sox, over 500 now, and they're doing their thing. I think I'm just jaded from like how much we used to see Yankees, Red Sox, and the 5-hour games every Sunday night baseball. Like, so I'm going to go away from that. I think this will be a fun series. I am interested because it is so late in the season for the first time they're meeting. But I'm going to go Philly at Baltimore. Baltimore's just kind of flying under the radar. Not really. They're doing their thing. I think they're probably the most complete team in baseball if I really am breaking it down. And then Philly comes in. I feel very similar to them. Now they're without JT Realmuto, obviously, but our guy, Trey Turner, might be back. I believe tomorrow they're talking. So I think this is definitely a possible World Series matchup. And both these teams are just they're doing it this year. So I think this is gonna be really fun. I'm interested to see if they all go like full bore because this might be a potential matchup. Do you show all your cards? Like, do you show your hand here, Chris?
Oh,
like,
stop.
You probably have to, right? Because you can't count on that.
Wait a second. Show your hand. This isn't the NFL where we're drawing up plays. You throw your pitcher that's in line to pitch, and you use your best arms in the bullpen if you want to go.
I'm just saying a reliever might save a pitch here or there on a guy if it's like a 4-run lead he's coming in. Maybe you don't show that slider as much as you want to normally. That's a thing, Chris. Don't shun me.
Well, no, I understand that if we're definitely going to see you at some point later in the year, but if you're going to start screwing with the baseball gods, if you're like, well, I want to save this for game 3.
I don't think so, Chris. I think you'd be surprised. I think you'd be surprised.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh, I'll
depending on the situation. I'm not gonna like give away a game because I'm not gonna throw my best pitch or throw it more often or less often than I normally would. I'm just saying, like, that's something to watch. Do I think that's gonna happen? There's a possibility.
Okay.
But I just like this series because of like what both of these rosters represent. These are complete rosters. Both teams have went out and made moves. Like I like watching both of these teams. A lot of athletes on the field.
Yeah, it is unquestionably, in my opinion, the best series of the weekend, in part because of the pitching matchups. Tonight, you've got Ranger Suarez, Dean Kramer going at it. Kramer's been a guy that is just, you
I
talk
thought it
about
was
flying
Bradish tonight. It wasn't?
Oh, maybe it is Bradish tonight. I thought it was Kramer. Maybe it is Bradish tonight. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
My bad on that. But then Sunday, I definitely wrote this one down right. Wheeler and Burns. That is the best matchup that we have had this season, this deep into the year.
Oh my gosh, what a day Sunday is going to be! We got that matchup. We got the end of the U.S. Open.
Mm-hmm. Father's Day.
Father's Day. House of Dragons comes back.
Okay, sorry, you had me till then.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm gonna have to pause and record. Go on, Chris. Sorry.
Okay. By the way, for Baltimore, this kicks off a really, really big next 7 days. They've got 3 against Philly, off day Monday, Tuesday through Thursday. They take on the Yankees. If I'm going to say anything about the Red Sox-Yankees series, and you know my feeling on it, it's I'm going to get in trouble for this.
Okay.
It's the best rivalry in sports by name only. Like it doesn't carry the same flair for me. You know, Fox will have it on tomorrow night and call it the best rivalry in baseball. And ESPN will have the Sunday night game, the best rivalry in baseball. Yes? What?
Well, no, I think it's different this year because the Red Sox have been the better team over the last decade. You know, they got the World Series titles and I think for the first time, and this is the Yankees team that should be much better than the Red Sox. But I pose this question on Talking Baseball. Why are the Red Sox one game over 500? Go look at like their team statistics, like OPS, starters ERA, bullpen ERA. Like they're like top 10 in all of that, but they're still one game over 500. I think this is a better team than we're giving credit to.
Yes, I would say that. And the other thing is that Judge does not play well at Fenway Park. It's crazy. 186 batting average is his lowest. 186 batting average is his lowest at any American League park. His 689 OPS is the lowest of any ballpark he's played in at more than 8 times.
Whoa. I didn't know that.
It is possible I was drinking last night and screwed up these stats. And Dan,
I'm going to go look right now. You keep going. Let me look.
I'm just telling you that this is what I thought I saw. 186 batting average and a 689 OPS at Fenway Park. Are you there yet?
I'm getting there. One sec. Got splits in career, location, opponent, no. Ballparks, Fenway, 186, 689. He's had 196 plate appearances, only 9 homers, 19 runs driven in 42 games.
Isn't that insane? Well, I mean, look, I know he didn't play well yesterday, but they have caught Aaron Judge at maybe the hottest we've ever seen him, and that's saying something. So we'll see how that ends up going. All right, I've got a couple more series for you. Are you more interested in seeing how the Royals, who just lost 3 out of 4 at home to the Yankees, do in L.A. against the Dodgers, or if the Reds can cut into Milwaukee's lead when the Brewers pay a visit to the Queen City?
I kind of hope you're talking about Reds Brewers. I'm going to go Royals Dodgers for a couple different reasons. Number one, I want to see this Royals team against the quote unquote elite teams, like a litmus test type of thing. They just failed at home against the Yankees. Jake jinxed the Yankees. That's the only reason they lost the last game. But now you roll into the Dodgers. And then another reason is these teams, although on different levels, tiers wise, I would say they kind of have the same issue where I would say they're both top heavy in the lineups. I think the Dodgers are probably better off 1 through 9 than the Royals are. But I think, you talk to Dodgers fans, they'll talk about the end of their lineup falling off. You talk to Royals fans and they'll probably say the same thing. So that's an interesting matchup there. See how these both teams approach, like how to navigate the top of the lineup. And then seeing Bobby Witt in LA it just does something for me. I don't know if I'm biased because I'm from here, but I want to see it.
By the way, that's a screw up on me. That is not Dan's fault on the graphic. It is Brewers at home against the Reds. So that's my fault. I thought the game was in Cincinnati. Regardless, it's still a pretty big series. The Brewers have part of the reason they have such a massive lead in that division is how they've done against other teams in the division. 16-8. That includes taking 2 out of 3 against Cincinnati earlier this year. That means that the Reds have 10 more shots at Milwaukee. I would say they've probably got to go 7-3 in order for themselves to feel good about it. What did I tell you 2 weeks ago? Like, who is that team that was going to start running a little bit?
You said the Reds.
Yes, and they have done pretty well.
What did I say? I don't remember. Padres, I think.
Possibly. All I know is that the Reds have done pretty well since then. And the starting pitching continues to be pretty good. We'll see how it does against Milwaukee. Like, I watch Milwaukee, and I'm like, man, how the heck are they doing this? Bullpen's been good. They definitely have. They're really athletic, man. They can run.
Oh, yes.
They can really run. So I think it'll be a fun series this weekend. Cincinnati's got to take 2 out of 3, I think, just to feel good about themselves. But we'll see. We'll see.
Milwaukee, 831 OPS with runners in scoring position. Also, did you tune into the Ohio Bowl? Battle for Ohio, whatever they call it.
The Ohio Cup, which is
that? I don't know what they call it.
It's ridiculous. Did you just ask me if I tuned in to my Guardians?
It's a stupid question.
Yeah.
Stephen Kwan, great at bat, down the line, double. That was sick.
Yeah, that was cool. And Jamer Candelario
he took the game over. Yeah.
Yeah, in game 2, he supplied all the runs. He had a solo shot in the first. He hit a 3-run homer off of Bybee that gave the Reds the lead that they wouldn't relinquish. So
that seems like a fun rivalry. Like, is it like that? Like, I feel like people in Ohio probably show up for stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it is. Here's what I heard some bullshit that happened the other day. Wednesday night was Ellie De La Cruz bobblehead night, which obviously is a big deal. They had him in the road gray, which is great. So there were huge lines. There were people complaining on social media, so you can't verify this, but I will bring it up. Somebody said they brought their 7-year-old whose favorite player is Ellie De La Cruz. They drove 3 hours to the game. They got there and they couldn't get an Ellie bobblehead, but they saw people walking around with 4 or 5 of them. Which, if that's the case, man, we gotta do something about that, don't we?
Well, how could that be? That they must have bought them from people or something.
Possible.
They're not going to hand one person 4 of them.
I don't know, man.
Well, that did give us the best moment of the weekend. The dude with the backflip getting tased.
Yeah. Did you see that the judge even said that, hey, so you looks like you stuck the landing. Like, hey, Your Honor, the dude ran onto the field. We don't know what he could have done. Like, let's not joke around with the defendant.
They tased the crap out of that kid.
By the way, I have no problem. I'll say it again.
I know how you are about that. I mean, I'm on your side on it.
Are you? Because are we going to wait until somebody wasn't it Ronald Acuna? Somebody went out and actually
they hugged him, right?
Yeah, they put their hands on him.
Yeah, we've changed a lot. Remember that lady that used to go give guys kisses on the field?
Morgana the Kissing Bandit was her name. Mm-hmm. Go check it out. 1981 All-Star Game in Cleveland. Large Lenny Barker representing then the Cleveland Indians. She ran out and kissed him.
The world's different now. I think we need to really relax on stuff like that.
Relax meaning what?
Well, stop it.
Thank you. Okay, good. There you go. Hey, today's episode, very excited about this. It is brought to you by Luke Combs, Father and Sons. It is the new album from Luke Combs. It's available now. First of a kind album release, 12-track album. It was recorded entirely live, so that's kind of cool. It features Combs' most personal songwriting to date. It reflects on his own experience about being a dad, unique bond between parents and their kids. It's an album for everyone, highlighting relatable themes of those special relationships that we all have in our lives. Now, Luke Combs has also teamed up with Major League Baseball and T-Mobile to give you and your family a chance to win the ultimate doubleheader VIP weekend trip. Listen up, because this is pretty cool. Winners get to fly to New York City, see a Yankees game on July 19th, then head to MetLife Stadium the next night. You'll meet Luke Combs, watch him in concert. All you have to do is visit lukecombs.com/MLB T-Mobile to enter for more details. Once again, that is lukecombs.com/MLB T-Mobile. All one word, okay? Enter for more details. Very, very cool. You can also hit the link in the description to save Father and Sons wherever you get your music.
These guys got some pipes on them.
Yeah.
He can sing.
Yeah,
And I would put him as a catcher, corner infielder if I had to guess.
probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Love to know what sort of baseball background he's got.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Let's see. I got people send me. What do we say here? The kid ended up getting a bobblehead later on. Oh, good. All right. Thank you. Tommy, I don't know if that's from you or Dan. I appreciate it. The tweet caught traction. So good. The kid who drove 3 hours, the kid didn't drive because I think he's like 7 years old. But the kid ended up getting the bobblehead. Yes. Go ahead, caller.
Can I pat myself on the back a little bit?
I mean, first time for everything.
That's not nice of you. Okay, so rain in the forecast. My last game there in Minnesota, day game. We kind of talked about that a little bit. There was a family right underneath our broadcast booth, and it was like cute little girl, cute little boy, and mom and dad. And one of them had the mom had a Morneau jersey on. And so I'm like looking around the booth and said, I want to give something to these little kids, like I feel like I've mentioned this many times, like do something nice. It doesn't take anything from me. I just have to like give something that isn't even mine away. So we end up getting like a bobblehead, a Yohan Duran bobblehead for the boy. We got like a Pablo Lopez, like kind of giveaway jersey for the girl. It was really cute. It was huge on her. She tied it up. Mom got her Morneau jersey signed. We started talking to him. And they said the last time that they came to they lived 3 hours away from the field. They drove down in April only to have the game rained out and had to turn around. They come down this time. Clouds are everywhere. Luckily, the rain parted. There was a rain delay during the game, but the guys, he couldn't believe, that we like did this for him. I told Warren, I said, this is so easy to give people like these like awesome memories like this. And you reminded me of it. Shout out to that family driving 3 hours to come to the game. I know it's not easy, especially with young kids, but if any baseball players are listening or anybody, just like random acts of kindness.
That's it, man.
Got to make the world go round, man. It's
great. And you should pat yourself on the back and you should use that as an example. It's why you're you. Yes. You have to understand, not everybody comes from the same background. You don't know that family story. Like that might be their big summer outing. You have no idea. Because it does cost decent money to go to a game, family of 4, driving 3 hours. Hope they get to do other things that are fun this summer, but that might be the highlight of their summer. And so you just created a memory, man.
That's cool, awesome. Dude. I just think like you can make someone's day so easily, and we need more people trying to do that.
Totally. Imagine how much better their day would have been if they had seen you with a full set of teeth instead of
dude, for real. They were like, this hillbilly's giving us stuff cool, but like, where's that tooth at, bro?
All right, continue on. And even with trade rumors swirling, Garret Crochet tossed another gem last night in Seattle. Career high 13 strikeouts, 1 run, 7 innings. Had to settle for a no decision because Kopech gave up another 9th inning homer. White Sox did end up winning it in extras. Now, as for Crochet, he's been unreal since the beginning of May. Do you think with Crochet getting better and better with every outing, it makes it more or less likely that the White Sox deal him?
Oh, I think this guy's gone, Chris. I don't think there's any way. And I think that'd be foolish not to trade him. Unless you're trying to like lock him up and you think he's going to be part of this, next run of the Chicago White Sox, which do they have any idea when that's going to be? What's the timeline for them? You got this guy, you just converted them into a starter, and he's had initial success. So now his stock is as high as it's going to get. It really is. He's got how many years left to control? He's a free agent in 2027. So he's got 2 more years of control after this. You don't know what starting him and making him throw his career high in innings is going to do to his body. Like he has to go. He's going to fetch a I don't know if a massive package is probably a massive package right now. You have to trade this guy. So I think that, and I think it should be soon. Like you need to capitalize on what you just said, like how well he's been pitching. You go do it, man. You got to go get a package for this guy because I don't think in the next 2 years the White Sox are going to be competitive. Ask Ozzie Guillen if he thinks they're going to be competitive in the next 2 years. This guy's gone. Luis Robert gone. Andrew Vaughn gone. Like Benny Biceps, they might try to find someone to take some salary and gone. There's no doubt in my mind.
If he's still on the team by the end of June, I think it's wrong. I agree with you. I would do it sooner rather than later. there's plenty of suitors out there. I know that was for whatever reason, we have to keep hanging on because everybody wants the best deal possible. The White Sox want to squeeze one extra player or a different kind of player out of somebody that they'll pull the trigger with. And the team that wants to get Crochet is like, no, we really have to hang on to that guy, but I'll give you this guy instead. So I understand all that has to go into it. But yeah, if I'm the White Sox, I am selling. This is the apex right here. You're talking about it. Is it possible that next year he could be even better? It is possible. It is possible. This year, I would be worried about Crochet if I'm trading for him. Like, I think it's an easy sell job to your fan base because you're like, look at what this guy is doing. Since the beginning of May, he has given up 6 runs in 8 starts. He's given up 6 runs in 8 starts. So you're like, holy smokes, we are going to get the best guy on the market. He's turning 25 next week, and he still has 2 more years of control after this season. So it's an easy sell job to your fan base. I don't know, though.
You don't know what?
If I'm the White Sox, I can't figure out why in the world they would hang on to him.
They won't, Chris. Look, he's thrown 155 career innings. 82 of them have come this year.
Yeah.
So
amazing.
More than half of his career innings are this year. Again, this guy has all the stuff to be a high-end starting pitcher. Like, he has that kind of talent, but you don't know what's going to happen. He already missed a full season with injury. Like, you just converted him into the starting role. You don't know what kind of adjustments hitters are going to make against him. Like, he's seeing guys as a starter for the first time basically this year. Like, that's different. So look, this is the time. Go maximize his value. Chris Getz, get this guy to somebody. I don't know who it's going to be. The Padres, it could be anywhere. This guy could go to a team that's not even really in contention yet. And I think that actually might be something that organizations will look at. Okay, we're like sort of there right now, but we're really thinking next year and the year after, because then you could limit his innings this year, build him up how you probably should build him up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I think there's going to be no shortage of suitors. It's not just going to be the people who are thinking they're World Series contenders this year. It could be someone who's like, hey, next year's our year. The year after that's our year. They can go after this guy as well. So like, if you have all those people, that's what drives the price up. You have to sell them.
Half of the White Sox top 10 prospects are pitchers as well. We just saw Drew Thorpe get called up this week. Noah Schultz, who was their first round pick, I want to say 2 years ago. He's just 20 years old. He's like a 6'9" left-hander. Like, he's going to be the dude in a couple of years. So that if you do trade Crochet and end up getting some sticks, because they need help in that lineup bad. They need help bad.
They need a lot of things, Chris.
They do need a lot of things. And I think that trading Crochet could certainly help them. Be very interesting. All right. Before we get on to our next topic, I want to talk to you about my best friend, Sydney Rose, our lone daughter in this household. She walks around on 4 legs. She's the love of my life. That's my girl. And so like 8 to 10 months ago, we made a switch that has made her even happier, right? We kicked the kibble to the side. We got rid of those cans of goo that we were feeding her because the farmer's dog came in and saved the day. The farmer's dog food, it is developed with vets. It's made fresh from real meats and veggies. It's perfectly portioned for your dog. It's delivered right to your door. All you have to do is head on over to thefarmersdog.com. It takes you less than 5 minutes to fill out a questionnaire. Basically, the age of your dog, the breed, how much exercise, how much it normally eats, and voila, they're going to send a package right to your door. These things, they come frozen, dry ice, and it actually says Sydney's name on the package, which is awesome. You stick it in the freezer about 24 hours before you need a new package. Just stick it in the fridge. It'll thaw out perfectly for you. It takes care of all of their health needs, right? Better coat, better skin, better breath, which is a big thing for your dog because sometimes they're throwing heaters out of their mouths, and you're like, damn, that is rough. Also, better digestion, right? Better poops. That's big stuff when we're talking about, because you don't want the big poops, and then you're walking around with these bags that look like they've been carried in Santa's sack. You're like, God damn, what is that? It's like, that's dog shit. I got to get it to the trash can as soon as possible. These are just better poops, and that's what we're talking about. So take care of your dog today. It doesn't matter if they're old like Sydney or if they're young and just getting going. The time is right to feed them the best food around. Keep your dog healthy and playing ball. Head on over to thefarmersdog.com. farmersdog.com/today. You're going to get 50% off your first box at the farmersdog.com/today. Plus, you get free shipping. That's no joke because it's a big time box, not one of those little teeny tiny Tiffany boxes. Once again, the farmersdog.com/today. You'll thank me later because at the end of the day, who doesn't want their dog looking up at you and saying, "Ready? Rai-ra-roo." Another day. Another mystery behind the plate when it comes to the umpires. This one, Emil Jimenez, who tossed Lane Thomas for just looking back at him. Listen closely to this clip.
It's right here. Lane's going to look back. We literally have video and voice audio. He never said anything. That's just bad. That makes me even more mad.
Oh my God. From what we can tell, Lane Thomas did not say anything. He looked back at Emil, who's in his second year as a major league umpire, and got tossed. Because we do have video and audio evidence, should this have been reviewed? Because tossing out a player is, that's a big deal.
I don't know even what to say about this. Number one, you can say F you with a look, no doubt about it. My kids, I feel like sometimes do that to me, but this is ridiculous. I think, okay, here's my thought process on it. Should we be able to revert like getting thrown out back to not getting thrown? Yes, I think we should be able to do that. I think that there are certain times where in a game at the major league level where emotions run high, even for umpires, which is weird. It shouldn't, but it does. There are times where they get the best of you. Your emotions get the best of you. Now, I think if he was able to take, 30 seconds and take a deep breath and be like, hey, I messed up right there. It just happened. A quick trigger shouldn't have happened. You're still in the game. That's the correct way to go about this. Now, I don't know if there's a rule against it, or if this is just like, no, they won't do it. I don't understand how that works. If he was able to get with his umpires and say, hey guys, like I tossed him, but like in hindsight, I shouldn't have. We saw this happen where it was with the Marlins and Skip Shoemaker and they had to pick somebody, if you remember that.
Pick the bench.
I think that's the right play. Now, again, I just don't know if there's a rule or not, but that's it. What happened there is incredible. And number one, I love Lane Thomas. And number two, it's hilarious to see him be like, what? Like, he didn't even say a thing. He gave him a dirty look. Like, is that where we're at with these umpires this year? He looked at... I don't know what to say, Chris. Like, you sent this over. I looked at the video and I was like, I don't even know how I'm going to approach this because it's so ridiculous. It's so far-fetched and ludicrous that this is happening.
It's been almost once a week for 2 months. We've talked about something. Balls and strikes have always been a problem. Always. When I was growing up, I got to be honest with you, the strike zone is way better than it used to be. When I was a kid, go back and watch some games. There were just horrific calls. But because we now have the box that's on TV, and we can go back and look at on our apps and see exactly where the pitch was. And by the way, the pitch was not in the strike zone that he was called out on. So I kind of put that to the side. You're going to get good umpires. You're going to get bad umpires behind the plate. This is the sort of stuff where you kick somebody out of the game. So you're not only calling them out on a pitch that wasn't even a strike, now you're removing them from the game. I don't know if it would have made a difference in the Tigers' win over the Nationals, but who knows? Like, you just that has to be the end-all, be-all. The ejection of somebody from a game. It has to be such the last resort, not the quickest trigger. It just can't be. And once again, it's embarrassing. Once again, we won't hear shit from Major League Baseball. We probably won't even get some sort of statement about it. They'll just go on to the next day because that's what they do. Like, I would be embarrassed if I was the umpires union and that was one of my people that I had to represent. Like, that way, if I were a fellow umpire, I wouldn't feel good about it.
No.
But because they all have to protect each other, like, how in the world can you protect that sort of behavior? Anyway?
Did he have to talk after the game? Is there any post-game from that?
I did not see a pool reporter. Once again, if there's anything controversial involving an umpire, usually they'll send a pool reporter, no camera, which to me is ridiculous, but that's the way all sports do it, unfortunately. Like in the NBA, they release the last 2-minute. Are you familiar with this?
No.
What they do in the NBA? They release the last 2 minutes, and basically they grade them, and they talk about, well, this call should have been reversed. This one actually touched the Knicks heading out of bounds instead of the Nets, so they screwed up that one. Like, they send out a full report, and it's embarrassing for the referees a lot of times.
Which you need to be accountable. I mean, these are well-paying jobs, again, with incredible job security. Like, you need to be accountable. That's the least we could ask, right?
Yeah. I like your idea of if he had gotten together with the other umps and said, hey, listen, I lost my shit for a second, he should not be ejected. I like that.
You can get together and do that in other plays. Why wouldn't you be able to do that with an ejection? I don't understand.
It's a good question. I would love to get some answers to these questions. I really would. Because we keep asking the best questions and we don't get any damn answers.
Let's get our guy, Dale Scott.
Okay. Let's do it.
Okay.
I'm with you. All right, it is time right now for our Factor Meals question of the week. So head on over to factormeals.com/baseball50. If you use that code baseball50, you're going to get half off your first box plus 20% off your next month. That is while your subscription is active. Go get it. It's time to feed your belly during the summer. It's awesome. Want to thank everybody for sending in their questions. Went with a theme this week because of what is happening this weekend. Danny Deerdorf. Hey, Danny, good job on this question. I am a soon-to-be dad. Congratulations. And with Father's Day coming up this weekend, what advice would you give for a soon-to-be dad? Baseball advice is welcomed, too.
I got so much, man. I love being a dad, and I don't know if I'm the best dad. I don't know. I try my hardest. I really do. I think two things. Number one's like kind of universal. I think you should sleep train your baby. Maybe, I don't know if that's controversial. I think you should sleep train your baby. Okay. Like I tell people that all the time. It helps everything out. Whenever you give parenting advice, it like gets a little dicey. People are like, no, don't do that. I think you should sleep train your baby. But here's my overarching theme here. And I really believe in this one. Take pride in knowing that you're never going to be the most important person in your family again. You're always going to come last. Take pride in that. Like, your kids come before you. Your wife comes before you. Everybody comes before you, and you should take pride in that. You should be the guy to make things happen for them. You'll get some. You'll get your love, bro. But just understand that that's how it's going to be. And again, I think you should take pride in it.
I like that. That's great advice. I should take that sometimes because there is the occasional, shit, well, I haven't bought myself anything in, 16 years, which if you look at my wardrobe, I think is pretty accurate. But that is, I think that's excellent advice for me. And Danny, first of all, congratulations. It's the best job you'll ever have. It's because it is work. It is work being a parent. There's no question, because there's work with not only raising your kids, but also you and, your significant other are different people. So the way you see the world and the way you grew up are going to be two different ways. And so this is the first time where you have to come together. So being able to communicate with your significant other is really, really important in being a parent, I think. Use these. I'm not talking about the headphones. I'm talking about what's under the headphones, and that would be your ears. Listen to your kids. You're not going to listen to every little thing. Like, hey, I want this and I want that from the toy. I'm not talking about that. Really listen to your children, because it starts at a very early age. And everybody knows this. I have two grown sons that are 23 and 18. So listen to what they're saying and how they're saying it. It's really important. And I always tell my boys, I say, listen, you're not going to always agree with what I'm saying, and I'm not going to always agree with what you're saying, but you have to know I have your best intentions in mind. So when I suggest something and when I hear something from you and we have to talk it out, even if it's not the most comfortable thing, you have to understand that. Like, even when I'm upset with you, it doesn't mean I love you any less. Just trust me on that.
I like that.
It's really important. Really important.
I like that. Can I go one more?
Yeah, well, I think he wanted some baseball advice too.
Oh, I got one more, just
regular
marriage with kids advice.
Let's do it.
Like, put your wife first sometimes too. Like date her. Like, take her on a date. Like, sometimes you got to let the kids just be at home and you have to prioritize your relationship at points. You have to. That's the secret to a great marriage.
That's true. That's marriage advice. Parenting with baseball, I will say this, since I just finished up being a father of an athlete, like it's over now. Enjoy every minute of it. The results do not matter. We have become this ridiculous society, and I don't know when it changed, but the results of the games started counting so early. They just don't. If the process is right, meaning if your kid did everything right and the result didn't work out, applaud the process. Applaud the process. If they worked their ass off, if they ended up being a great teammate, if they did everything in their power, like, how many parents do you talk to are like, so how was the game today? Well, he struck out twice. And maybe the kid went 3 for 5 on the day, and they're focusing on the 2 strikeouts because they struck out with the bases loaded in the last inning. Like, maybe the process was great. Maybe the kid had an 8-pitch at bat, and the other kid was just better. Like, that shit is going to happen. So support them. Support them with this sort of stuff.
Follow Coach Ballgame for dad
Yeah.
baseball advice. I think he's constantly giving out great advice on how to handle situations. I've listened to him countless times.
Yeah, he really cares. Like, he's in New York right now doing some work with Major League Baseball, which I love.
I got so many more. The guys at your little league that are going to be like taking it too seriously and like yelling and doing all these things, just imagine them in a clown outfit, because that's what they are.
And by the way, I don't mind saying
you're going to be there.
I don't mind saying something to the parents too. Like, there's times where dear friends of mine, I'm like, why are you being an asshole? Just stop. Don't yell at the kids. Don't yell at the umpire. Just stop. Let the kids play. You're here to support the kids in the dugout. That's it. You are there to support them.
Dude, you and I would love to do just like a marriage dad show.
I think we do that one day in the off season. Absolutely.
Like okay.
Listen, this is a Dan. Thank you so much for the question of the week, the factor question of the week, and most importantly, congratulations. And also, one other thing: cut the cord. Cut the cord when your baby gets here.
Oh yeah, take a peek under the hood.
Yeah, well,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
It's crazy.
It's insane. Like, I understand how we got here, but once we get here, you're like, whoa, this is amazing.
You'll appreciate your wife a lot if you do that.
Oh, hell yes.
Oh
Get that push gift too. All right. Amazing week around here. A ton of fun. We are back at it again on Monday. So for our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, our amazing intern, Tommy Young, great job, Tommy. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. Happy birthday. Happy Father's Day. Have an amazing weekend. We all love you. I will see you on Monday. I am Chris Rose. Thanks for tuning in to Baseball Today, presented to you by Factor.